to the audiobook, The Unloved Mate, written by Skylar. It's a story about Isabella, a nobody in the pack, and all she expects is love from her mate. What will happen when her only hope is taken away? Can she survive on this love journey? Narrated by Melissa Deal and Ben Mitchell, produced by ICN. Chapter 1. Isabella's POV. It was 1:23 at night, or more like morning, and I was still cleaning the last couple of dishes in the sink. I have been working for 20 hours non-stop today. I really needed some sleep. I finished the last plate and sighed. Now I can get some sleep. Finally. I am an Omega of the Howlers pack. My parents are warriors in the pack. I don't know why, but no one loves me here. I am often called names, and sometimes beaten up too. I don't want to be here, but only one thing is keeping me from running away, and it's the idea of finding my mate. I know that he will love me and take me away. I smiled at that thought. Just a week more, Bella, then we will find our mate. He will love us and cherish us. My wolf Nora said in my head. Yeah, hope so, I said. I walked over to the storeroom, which is also my bedroom. The alpha said that I'm no more worthy than the trash that is kept here, if not less. So I have to stay here in the dark and dirt. I am really scared of the dark, but I can't object to the alpha's order. I walk up to the storeroom and walk in. All my possessions are scattered around. Not that it's anything new. Some cruel members do this all the time to trouble me. It's not difficult to sort things because all I own is a couple of baggy old clothes, an alarm clock, a torn-up rug on which I sleep. I don't even have a blanket to keep myself warm. I clean up everything and go to sleep. Good night, Bella, Nora says. Good night, Nora, I said. A week later, I woke up with a smile on my face, which does not happen at all. I am happy because today is my birthday, and I will find my mate. I quickly get up and take a shower in the common shower, which is for the Omegas. It's 5 in the morning, so no one will be up right now. I went to the kitchen and prepared breakfast for the pack. In an hour, I have the whole thing ready. Bacon, eggs, toast, fresh juice, and apple pie. I hear footsteps, and I hide in the corner of the kitchen after setting up the table. They don't like to see my face in the morning. All the pack members occupy the 3 long dining tables and serve themselves. I am hungry too, but I'm not allowed to eat breakfast. Only lunch. And that's 2 pieces of toast, a cube-sized chicken piece, and a cup of water. They give it to me so that I don't die. After everyone is done, they leave for school or work or anything they have to do. I clean up the dishes. I put them in the sink and start cleaning them. After I'm done, I go to clean all the rooms. When I reach the 2nd floor, I smell a fresh smell, chocolate and mint. It is really refreshing. Nora starts to howl happily. I think I just found my mate. I followed the scent, which led me to the beta's room. I touch the doorknob to open the door, but as soon as I do that, I feel a stabbing pain in my stomach. I ignore the pain and plaster a smile on my face. I don't want my mate to see me in pain. I opened the door, and my smile fell off my face. My mate, the one who is supposed to love me, is butt naked on top of a similarly butt naked girl, whom I recognize as Morgana, the pack's favorite person, Alpha's daughter. They both sense me and look at me. Mason the beta looks at me and frowns, while Morgana covers the both of them with a blanket. Realization flashes upon his face, which is soon replaced by rage and disgust. Tears are flowing down my cheeks. I leave the room and run towards my room and cry. After 10 minutes, the door opens, revealing Mason. He looks at me on the floor and without a warning kicks me on all the sides. Then a punch on the face. Kick, punch, kick, punch. It goes on until I fall limp on the floor. The last words I hear are more painful than the beating I just received for no reason.
I, Mason Johnson, reject you, Isabella, as my mate.
He spat.
I don't know why Moon Goddess would do such a thing as to pair me with such trash like you. I have a true mate, Morgana. She is going to lead me to the alpha position and actually keep me happy and satisfied, which you can never do.
He continued. Then I blacked out. Chapter 2. Isabella's POV. I feel like my life is slowly being sucked out of my body, leaving me more lifeless than I was before. Being abused and not loved is a different thing, and being rejected by your mate is an entirely different thing. A week has passed since that day, and no one knows what happened. Mason threatened me. Now he beats me openly, and no one does nothing about it. They join in sometimes. My life has been worse than it was. I tried to kill myself sometimes, but Nora did not let me. I have to survive all this. I am afraid of everything. The men that beat me, the women that burn me, everything. I do not speak. I don't scream. I only silently bear the pain they inflict upon me, in hopes that death will be finally bestowed upon me to release me from here. The same day the above scene happened.
Damien's POV. Sometimes I think I have the worst case of bad luck in the whole entire universe. I have to work nonstop. Pack meetings, traveling to other packs, different events that alphas are forced to go to, etc. I am a cruel alpha, I agree, but I don't want my pack to suffer at all. I want them happy. But still, a very important part of me is missing. My mate. My pack's Luna. I am 20 now, and I am still looking for her. I think I should just give up. I travel a lot in hopes of finding her, but I guess I will have to stop now. Today there is a get-together among the alphas of different packs. It is held every year at a different pack. This time, it's at the Howlers. Honestly, I am not a fan of that pack. I have heard the alpha was the beta of the pack, and received the position after mating with the alpha's daughter, which is really cheap of him, because she is not his real mate. I stand in front of my full-length mirror and adjust my suit. When I'm satisfied, I walk in my closet for my watch and my wallet. I look at my closet and sigh. About a month ago, I was on a run around the city border when my wolf started screaming, "Mate," in my head, and I was this close to finding her, but I lost the scent. In hopes of finding her, I had emptied half my closet for her. I take my necessary thing and exit my room. I put on a stone-hard face. No one has seen me smiling, except for a few close ones, and I intend to keep it that way. I meet my beta outside the pack house. We reach our destination in an hour. We exit our cars, and were welcomed by the Alpha Mason and Luna Morgana. We greeted each other, and were soon joined by other alphas, their Lunas and betas. We were seated in the big living room. Drinks were served, and all were engaged in small talks. I was incredibly bored. I needed to get out of here. No one was talking to me. They were terrified of me, and I liked it that way. I mind-linked Nate, my beta, that I'm going out for a stroll. I excused myself. I was finally free. I walked out and instantly got lost. This place is like a maze. I don't know how, but I ended up in the kitchen. I looked around and caught a scent. Honey and cinnamon. Mate, my wolf yelled in my head. I started doing a happy dance in my head. I frantically looked around, but nothing. Then I focused on the scent. It's coming from a cabinet in the kitchen. But that's not all. The scent is mixed with a metallic smell of blood. I mind-linked Nate, and within 5 seconds he was with me. I quickly opened the cabinet, but what I saw broke my heart. My mate. I carefully pulled out her tiny body out of the cabinet and set it on the floor. Her body was covered in her own blood. Black and blue bruises were on her body. Her breath was short, ragged. I took her unconscious body in my arms and went to the living room. Nate following closely behind me. As soon as I entered, I heard people gasp. I laid my mate's fragile and tiny body on the couch. "Someone call a doctor!" I yelled at the people, who were just staring at my unconscious mate in shock. After a minute or two, a lady in a lab coat came in. Must be the doctor. She pulled a chair beside her and started examining her. After examining her, she called for us. I ran toward my mate and held her hand instantly. What's wrong with her? She's fine. What happened? When will she wake up? I asked the doctor desperately.
She is fine, Alpha. She has multiple bruises on her body, and I guess the injury on her head led to her being passed out. Her 6 bones are broken, and she is extremely underweight. Her tiny frame isn't helping either, and staying in the cabinet for too long cut off her oxygen supply temporarily. And according to me, she should be conscious by tomorrow morning.
She explained. I nodded, and she bowed and left. That's when I realized something. Why the hell does she have bruises? Why was she in the cabinet? And the main question, who did this to her? My sadness was soon turned into anger on the thought of anyone harming my gem of a mate. I rapidly turned around to face the Alphas, specifically Alpha Mason. What is the meaning of this, Alpha Mason? I said, extremely calm. He gulped. She is really clumsy and keeps falling on thin air. And about the cabinet, some kids might have pranked her maybe, he said. Who did this to her? I yelled. I had had enough of his lying already. He remained silent. Answer the Alpha. Who did this to our Luna? Nate yelled in protection of his Luna. Luna? She isn't a Luna. She is an Omega. Before he could continue, I grabbed his throat and backed him to the wall. A word against her, and I will rip your head off your body, I growled.
Chapter 3. Isabella's POV. I was woken up by the sound of yelling and things being thrown. I opened my eyes and took in my surroundings. I was on the couch in the special living room. But how did I get here? I was thrown in the kitchen cabinet after today's beatings so that I don't bother them. I looked around and saw someone holding Alpha Mason by his neck.
A word against her and I will rip your head off your body,
the person growled. I tried to get off the couch but fell on my face. I guess my ankle is sprained.
Luna!
A boy said. I looked around confused. He was looking at me but calling for Luna Morgana. Weird. I tried and failed to get up. Suddenly a pair of strong arms picked me up by my waist and sat me down on the couch. And the weirdest thing is, I felt a tingling sensation where he touched me. I looked at the person and my eyes widened. He is easily the hottest person I've ever seen, or will ever see. He had thick, inky black hair, which I want to run my fingers through. He was very well built, but not in a gross way, just perfect. His face was so beautiful that models would be cowering. He sat beside me with a concerned look on his face. I looked at him confused. He cupped my face and smiled. I kept my blank face. He frowned. I frowned. He smirked. I still frowned.
Hi, sweetheart. Are you okay now?
He said in a deep and husky voice. I gulped and hesitantly nodded.
Good. What's your name, sweetheart?
He asked with a small smile. Isabella. My voice barely above a whisper.
A beautiful name for a beautiful gem, I see.
He said with what looked like love in his eyes. Damien, Luna Morgana's voice said from behind. I quickly got off the couch and bowed to her. She ignored me and threw a flirtatious look at the person, Damien, who sat beside me seconds ago. Damien gently pulled me back to the couch, totally ignoring the looks Luna was giving him. He made me sit impossibly close to him. I was practically sitting on his lap. He was huge. I looked like a kid in front of him. It was like comparing coconut and plums. The difference is big. Damien looked at me and wrapped his hand around my waist. He smiled in satisfaction. Then he looked at the Luna with a glare, and I seriously don't want to be on the receiving side of it. It was that scary.
It's Alpha Damien to you, Luna Morgana,
he said. As soon as word Alpha came out of his mouth, I stood up from his oddly comfortable embrace and ran away to the storeroom, terrified. He was Alpha Damien. The Alpha Damien. I don't want any other Alpha in my life, ever again. Chapter 4. Isabella's POV. I don't know what to feel. The person who tortured me is my mate. The person who was holding me is the Alpha Damien. Alpha Damien was well known in the werewolf community. He was like a king without a crown. Everyone feared him. His pack is the biggest one so far. He kills anyone that threatens him or his family. He also has a golden wolf, which is abnormally powerful. That's why most fear him. They know he can single-handedly take an army. But then why was he here? And why was he holding me? And the look on his face? I'm confused. My head started to hurt. I saw the door of the storeroom being opened and a silhouette of a man coming towards me. And I blacked out. For the third time today.
Damien's POV. Why would she run away? Have I done anything wrong? For the first time in my life, I feel nervous of what the other person thinks of me. She's not a random person. She is her mate. Go to her. My wolf, Dom, was yelling in my head. I was about to follow her, but Mason stopped me. Alpha, I don't understand. Why are you behaving like this? Mason the moron said. Yep, that name suits him. I don't need to answer to anyone. But if you're all so curious, then listen. She's my mate, I growled. Everyone gasped. Mason shook his head and laughed. But that is not possible, Alpha. She already has a mate. But he rejected her on sight, Mason said. I was shocked. She had been rejected by her mate. Who in their right mind would reject a gem like her? But a tiny part of my non-existing heart that belongs to my mate is happy because now Isabella can be mine and only mine. Why did he reject her and who is he? I growled. I need to know who inflicted such pain on my Isabella. It was me, Mason said proudly, with a victorious smirk on his face. What is he so happy about? Why? I asked again. Because she's an Omega. I was the Beta. I did not want people to look at me any other way. I want respect. And with that filthy little thing by my side, I would never get it. He growled. I had had enough of it. I have to see if Isabella is okay. I stood up and mind-linked Nate. Show them what happens when someone disrespects or hurts your Luna. I walked out of the room, not missing the smirk Nate gave me before a slight nod. I followed Nate's scent and I reached her room. I sniffed the air and I smelled her again. Honey and cinnamon, but mixed with salty tears. I opened the door and entered. I saw her looking at me through hooded eyes. She was about to say something, but she passed out. I ran to her and picked her up. She is white as a feather. I took her outside and asked a random person to tell me where I could find the pack doctor. He took me to the small clinic thing in the mansion and left. I went inside and the doctor from earlier was beside me in a flash.
What's happened?
She asked, looking at Isabella with concern and worry in her eyes. I told her everything.
Okay, lay her down on the bed. And please, wait outside while I check her.
She said, and I went outside without protesting. I don't want to delay her treatment because of me. I sat on a chair outside, which was not comfortable. I waited for what felt like hours. The doctor came out and I ran toward her. What happened? Is she okay? I asked.
Alpha, Isabella had an injury on her head when I treated her before, and it had not healed properly before a lot of stress was inflicted on her. Her wolf is weak, so it will take time, but she will heal. Just make sure not to stress her out. It can cause serious damage in the brain, and she might wake up in an hour or two.
She bowed and left. I walked in and sat on a stool beside her bed. She She looked pale and unhealthy. I will make everything better, baby. Just trust me. I will treat you like a princess. My princess. Just give me a chance, and I'll make everything better. I promised her.